What's good, Joe? What's good, Real Talk Squad? This is Miles. You are listening to Real Talk about Johns, where we always keep it real. Let's get straight into it, man. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Share a friend, share a friend. Let's get into some Real Talk. Boom, Eagles, Rams. This is the preview to the preview. It's me first looking at how these both teams match up against each other. We'll have our official prediction come Friday, but I wanted to get this initial episode out. Now we're fresh off the Eagles beating the Chiefs, and regardless of how it looked, it's still extremely impressive that the Eagles came into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs. And the Chiefs aren't a bad team. They aren't a bad team, obviously. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Andy Reid, you got Chris Jones, Steve Spagnuolo. You're always going to have a chance. And they play two teams who I believe are honestly contenders in the Eagles and the Chargers in their respective conferences to the very end. So it's not like they're getting blown out. So, yes, the passing offense and certain things need to improve for this Eagles team to get to the form they want to be in going into playoffs. But it's September right now, and I know that. But we're still going to point out what needs to be improved on and also shout out things that is going great. And we got some rookies playing amazing football. I mean, can you believe that in back-to-back years, Howie Roseman got Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell 2024? Amazing. Home run. And then followed that up with Jahad Campbell and Andrew Mukuba. I mean, Andrew Mukuba and Jahad Campbell are already top 5 in defensive rookie of the year odds. So it's the same thing as last year. You got two guys in the first and second round that are legit from the start. Mukuba is doing a phenomenal job in replacing what CJ Gardner-Johnson brought. And Jahad Campbell is adding another element to that linebacker room with a guy who is excellent in coverage and is learning so quickly on how to not only get to the quarterback, but stop the run. And he got a phenomenal teacher in Zach Ball, and then it gets even better when N'Kobe Dean comes back in week 5. We'll see how they use Jahad Campbell. So ultimately, Howie Roseman, got to give him his flowers because he did his thing. Shout out the rookies. And then we talk about offensively. Look, the telltale and the matchup that I want to look for in this Eagles-Rams game is going to be the Eagles offensive line matching up against the Rams defensive line. We're going to see if the Eagles offensive line is going to improve on their performance in the playoffs, because in the playoffs, in the divisional round against the Rams, that was their worst performance of the year. It was their worst performance of the year. Second was probably Commanders game when Jalen Hurts got injured. The offensive line wasn't that good, but also it was like, all right, Hurts built that ability, kind of changes the game a little bit. That's understandable. But also against the Rams, they got worked. Granted, it was in the snow, but they got outplayed. So you want to see Jeff Stoutland get these boys ready to dominate on Sunday. Because if the Eagles offensive line dominates, what does that mean? The run game is on fire. What does that mean? A.J. Brown is going to be matched up against Emmanuel Forbes. Emmanuel Forbes wakes up every night and has nightmares about what A.J. Brown did to him in Washington. So it all depends on if the offensive line can give Jalen Hurts time. And I will lose my mind if I see Hurts in the pocket with a clean pocket for 5 seconds and the ball isn't being let ripped. I will be pissed off. I will. it'll piss me off because it'll be like, can we finally use AJ Brown? And it might not even be on Jalen Hurts. It could be on the play calling. It could be on the play calling, and I'm definitely gonna do a film review on Friday, just to detail what the Eagles must do better, what some guys are doing well. But that's it. The offensive line, like, you don't want Hurts under duress the whole entire game. I mean, look, the passing offense already been struggling, so you don't want him, having less time to throw, less time to make decisions on the field. Now you're gonna need Hurts to be more decisive with his throws, decisive if he's gonna run or throw. They're gonna try to have a spy on Hurts. If you do that, you got that, option, zone read option. Hey, Saquon Barkley, he is hold this. All Hurts will do was just check. All he'll do is just check. Oh, they buying on did they buy in on me running? Saquon, go for a 70-yard touchdown. So this Eagles offense is so lethal that, again, they can beat you in multiple ways. So that's one way with Hurts, another way with Saquon, another way with Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, right? So you're looking at all that stuff there. Offensive line has got to play better. Defensively, the Rams will be the Eagles' toughest test so far this season because they have two legit wide receivers. Puka Nacua arguably is a top 5 wide receiver in the game. Devontae Adams is still elite. Matthew Stafford is elite. I would take him over Joe Burrow. I mean, and then you got Kyron Williams, who is a damn good running back if he can hold on to the football. So this will be by far the toughest test for this Eagles defense. And we just talked about how lethal that Rams front seven is. So this is a damn good team, and we're about to see just what the Eagles are made of at home when the Rams come into Philly. And this is the team. The Rams have won 9 out of 11 games. No, they've won 9 out of 11 games. Do you want to know the two teams? Oh, the two teams. Do you want to know where their 2 losses came from? It's to Eagles. It's to Philly. It's the Eagles. It's the Eagles. So ultimately, it's a funny spot because just like how the Chiefs were looking at us and saying, we want revenge. We want revenge. Like, the Rams for damn sure want revenge. They feel like they could have beat us on that last drive, and they very well could have because their tight end was wide open, and Jalen Carter had an amazing release, ended up beating that center and sacking Matthew Stafford. So that's just great by Jalen Carter to save the day, like we've said. But this Rams team is looking for revenge. Now, I want to talk about the offense for a second, and Dallas Goedert is back. I am so happy that Dallas Goedert is practicing. He is most likely going to play in the game. Now, this is a guy that he's going to get banged up. And that's the reason why I was saying in the second round, get a tight end, a Mason Graham, Elijah Arroyo. I know Harold Fannin Jr. has been cooking as well. So that's what I was saying. Like, get yourself the successor for Dallas Goedert, just like how with Zach Ertz, his successor was Dallas Goedert. Now, Goedert is so important in the run game because he can block. He's so important in pass protection. We saw first play of the game, Patullo said, I want to get A.J. Brown a touchdown. And Grant Calcaterra and Granson can't hold up their blocks on the outside. The pocket collapses, Hurts fumbles the ball, and A.J. Brown, who was wide open, for a walking 70-yard touchdown. The ball doesn't go to him. So Dallas Goedert makes all the world of a difference when he is in the game. So you gotta definitely be happy about that. And that is a huge, huge bonus for the Eagles against the Rams. So we have that. You also have Jalen Hurts in this passing offense, because we gotta talk about that. I just feel like there's this revisionist history. Like, this is the first time we've seen this passing offense be suspect. Now, granted, I think this is probably the worst I've seen it in a 2-game stretch. But peep this, right? Peep this. The same thing was said about Kellen Moore. Like, folks talking about Kellen Moore like he just had no, valleys. It wasn't nothing wrong with his offense. His offense was perfect. No, after that Panthers game, he was getting cooked. After that Packers game in the playoffs, he was getting cooked. I remember in the Rams game, right after Jalen Hurts injured his knee, he calls a bootleg to have Hurts in space. And of course, it's a tackle for loss. And all I'm saying is, if the Eagles didn't have the best defense in the league and Saquon Barkley, they're losing. That's a fact. And so the best coordinator in the Sirianni Hurts era by far, not even a debate, is Shane Steichen, because he was able to not only have a great run game, and he didn't even have Saquon Barkley. He had Miles Sanders. He also was able to unlock the passing game to complement the run game at a highly productive level. So only one offensive coordinator was able to do that with Hurts while minimizing turnovers. Now, Brian Johnson gets a lot of flack, which I don't feel like is fair, because he didn't, like, I just don't feel like you could compare Brian Johnson to Kellen Moore or Kevin Patullo, because he never had Saquon Barkley and he never had Vic Fangio, the best defense in the league. Like, he never had those two huge pieces that Kellen Moore and Kevin Patullo now have. So I can't, that's like comparing apples to oranges. Like, I definitely believe if Brian Johnson had the tools, had what Kellen Moore and Kevin Patullo had, that he would get a Super Bowl too. You might not agree, but you have to at least acknowledge, hey, he did not have the same things that those other guys had. So what Kevin Patullo is doing, I am disappointed. I think it's a two-way street. Here's my thing with the passing game too as well. For some reason, part of me is like, the Eagles offense is just trying to skate by wins so they don't have to reveal their full playbook. I feel like they're still hiding some things in their playbook and they're waiting until the playoffs to do it. Maybe that's me coping super hard as an Eagles guy, and I just feel like there's no way that they could be this incompetent in passing the football. And also, I've seen them get cooked in the middle of the season for the passing game not being great. And then come the NFC Championship, they hang 50. In the Super Bowl, they hang 40. The most points in the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl combined ever. Ever. So that's why I believe it will get better, but we are going to see games where Hurts is like, I'm not going to essentially risk it for the biscuit if I don't have to. Like, one of Jalen Hurts' best traits is knowing when to be aggressive and when not to be aggressive. And y'all can get mad at him for not risking it as much and not having those gaudy passing yards like you want him to have. But the fact of the matter is, he's playing this way because of us. Because after the 4 games last season, and he was being cooked for turning over the ball, he essentially said, you know what, bet I'm going to go out here and not turn over the ball. Since the Buccaneers game in 2024, a year ago, Jalen Hurts has 4 turnovers, not 4 interceptions. He has 4 turnovers. This is insane. So honestly, I'm okay with him not being risky because the Eagles always win games when they win the turnover battle. And so Hurts might be thinking to himself, okay, why would I risk it and potentially get picked off or cause a turnover and then put my team, put my defense in a unfavorable position, and we end up losing the game because I'm trying to pad my stats. So he knows, hey, we can punt the ball and rely on our defense rather than forcing a ball to A.J. Brown, who's in tight coverage. Now, someone else could say, hey, bruh, A.J. Brown is top 5. A.J. Brown is top 3. A.J. Brown's the best receiver in the game. You give him a chance because he'll win it. And what Hurts is saying is, hey, I like to win, and I would rather not risk it if I don't have to risk it. And unless Jalen Hurts has to be aggressive, which is in big moments, it is in big games, we have seen him deliver. Folks forget, in that Rams divisional round game, he threw a dot to A.J. Brown right before halftime that would have set up a touchdown, but A.J. Brown didn't catch it. If A.J. Brown catches that ball, you're looking at Hurts box scoring that game way more favorably than you otherwise would. So we have to put context and actually watch these games, which we do. If you're watching me, you watch the games and not just go by box scores, but also acknowledge that it has to get better. But we want to just give some context as to why Jalen Hurts acts the way he does and why, whether it is Kellen Moore or Kevin Patullo, that this offense has its valleys, I say, with this passing game. And, we're go out there and see that. But I just think that they're just like waiting for like the playoffs or later in the season to show more of the playbook. Like when you're in heavy personnel and 2 tight ends, one wide receiver, and a lot of the offense is predictable. It's like they don't want to show much. They don't want to show much because they know they can get by. That's what I think. Again, if I'm coping, let me know down below. But that's what that is there. I want to talk about a couple of guys real quick. Justin Herbert. Is Justin Herbert an MVP candidate at this point? Yeah. But so is Daniel Jones. So we have had folks already put it back in the top 5, top 4. He's over Burrow, Hurts, Stafford. After 2 games? Come on, bruh. I mean, we got to see what this guy does in the postseason. There are a lot of guys that in September, they're the man. Jared Goff, the man. Tua Tagovailoa, before the Dolphins fully collapsed, he was the man in September. Dak Prescott, the man, right? What do these guys do in December, in January? That's how I grade these guys. Because being a September champion doesn't actually get you a ring. Like, it doesn't get you any accolades. It's just you're firing on all cylinders in the beginning of the season. It's a long season. There's 17 games. Can we pump the brakes on the Justin Herbert hype train? Because I'm still taking Hurts in a big game for my life every day of the week and 2 times on Sunday. 2 times on Sunday. That's what it is. We got to just add context. We got to keep it a beam. And then this brings me to my last point of this episode. Did you know, with Patrick Mahomes' birthday being today and him turning 30 years old, Jalen Hurts is the only quarterback under 30 with a Super Bowl MVP. Ha! Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Herbert, Burrow, whoever you want to call, they want what Jalen Hurts has. They want it. He's the only quarterback under 30 to have a Super Bowl ring and a Super Bowl MVP. So he should get the benefit of the doubt if the passing game isn't looking good in the first 2 games. Because Hurts is the only guy that has to consistently prove himself when he's already accomplished more than his contemporaries. Like, why do I have to prove myself to you again and again? And I know my worth, and I know my value, and I know what I bring to the table. That's Jalen Hurts. That's his mindset. That's why when Chris Jones talk about you ain't have 100 yards. All right, Turkey, we won the game. We're 2-0. You're 0-2. Like, people lose sight of the fact that it is about winning when they talk so bad on Hurts himself. He should get the benefit of the doubt. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. It is Real Talk with Andrew. I know I'll always keep it real. I'm out, y'all.